Thank you all for being here. This statement coming out of the Sheriff's Office. We've been investigating the deaths of 2 detainees at the Shelby County Jail down at 201 Poplar. First of all, let me offer my condolences to both of these families and a heartfelt condolences. On Thursday, February the 6th, shortly after 6:45 p.m., an inmate at the main jail at 201 Poplar was transported by the Memphis Fire Department to Region 1 in non-critical condition due to apparent mental status change. While at the hospital, officials pronounced the inmate deceased at 9:28 p.m. The inmate has been identified as 33-year-old Darian Nolen. He was, he was booked into jail on September the 17th, 2024 on felony vandalism and misdemeanor assault charges. This morning, Friday, February the 7th, shortly after 5:30 a.m., an inmate was discovered unresponsible in his single cell at the main jail, also at 201 Poplar. This inmate was transported by the Memphis Fire Department to Methodist Central Hospital, where he was later pronounced at 5:39 p.m. That inmate has been identified as Darius Crawford. He was booked into jail on January the 25th, 2025 on 4 counts of assault on a first responder and an aggravated assault. Sheriff's Office has been in contact with the DA's office. Obviously, we're launching an investigation as to what happened to both of these detainees. Right now, we're not sure. We're going to have to probably wait on the medical examiners to let us know what happened to both of them. But some of the things that I kind of wanted to talk as well about is right now, as of this morning, we had 2,540 detainees at 201 Poplar. We had another 108 down at juvenile court. And now at jail lease, where we're close to now, another 279. As I said, the Sheriff's Office is launching an investigation, but it goes to the point that I've been trying to make with the public and with the news media as well about being short of staff. And when I talk about leaving the Youth and Education Justice Center, where I have 58 to 60 officers that I could use down at 201 Poplar and other jail locations, that's the reason that I would like to leave juvenile court. So far, we spent about $5.3 million in the jail. A lot of that is due to shakedowns, looking for weapons, looking for contraband, and just doing what the officers are doing. We've terminated employees, and if we find that any of these deaths are drug related, then we will terminate more employees and hopefully get with the DA and prosecute them as well. We have a very aging facility, and I've talked about it many times, frequent maintenance issues, overcrowded, poor living conditions, increasing tension among inmates as well as staff. We must together work in this community. When social conditions worsen, more individuals are incarcerated. That's just the way it is. Issues like mental health crises, substance abuse, lack of social services contribute to the rising incarceration rate. A modern jail and stronger community partnerships could reduce recidivism rates and improve the outcome as these detainees re-enter into society. Now, I'm going to stop here for just a minute, and I'm going to let Chief Kurt Fields speak on this matter, or speak on some matters, and then I'll come back and answer some questions. Chief Fields?
Good evening. To reiterate what the sheriff said, our prayers and condolences to the families and loved ones of the two persons that transitioned today. We are in a crisis situation at the jail. We're close to 300 officers down. We have the latest in technology to try and do the best that we can. We have dedicated men and women coming to work every day. But when our staffing level is that low, then we have another 68 to 70 staff members out at the Youth Justice Center. We need those officers at 201 so that we can tend to those residents that we have at 201. The sheriff stated that, mental health, substance abuse issues that takes place in the community are magnified in a jail setting. We need those staffers there to help us combat those issues that we face on a day-to-day basis. The sheriff stated that when we find staff in violation, we discipline those staff members. We sometimes terminate those staff members. But unfortunately for us, sometimes those decisions are overturned by the Civil Service Merit Board, and those persons are returned back to work. That puts the entire sheriff's office at risk, as well as our residents. Once again, we are truly remorseful. Any life that is lost is a tragedy, and we're committed to do the best that we can. But we need assistance. We need a new jail. Our jail was opened in 1981. For those that don't know, a jail ages anywhere between 3 to 4 years for every year of usage. So technically, our jail is 160 years old. It is staff intensive, and it's not a healthy environment. And sad to say, but we have dedicated staff that are coming in every day doing the best that they can, and we will continue to do that. Thank you.
So with that being said, and I'm sure many of you have questions, please ask away.
Sir, you talk about trying to get the jail fully staffed, but I know we've had 2 separate incidents recently where we talked about deputy jailers who are bringing contraband in. I mean, how do you kind of compromise between those two? Active recruiting, but making sure they're not going to get up?
There's no compromising when it comes to an officer bringing drugs in this jail or any jail. It's no compromising. We will prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law. I think Chief Buckner had mentioned in a previous press conference that we're looking at national experts to come in to look at our operations, to see how we're doing the things that we're doing, and hopefully have a fresh set of eyes to take a look at it. But we know the obvious, and that's shorter staff.
This is the second time we've been here this week. In total, this week we've had 4 people that passed away from detainees that have passed away. Kind of talk about, how this is just impacting you all in general. Like, this is 4 times this week that we've seen somebody pass away. Well,
as Chief Fields mentioned, it affects the staff. It affects me. I take great pride in my job, and so do the many officers of the Shelby County Sheriff's Office. So when you're talking about having to defuse or debrief officers because they're seeing this over and over again. Again, a new facility would go a long ways because this jail is just far, far outdated, the way it's built, the way that it's manpower intensive because the way it's built. And I've been asking people, the county commission, the mayor, let's talk about it. I understand it's not going to be built overnight, but we've got to have some serious conversations about building a new jail.
For a 33-year-old Darian Nolen, when we say mental health change, what do we mean by that? Or his status change?
Chief Fields, come up. I'll let Chief Fields answer.
With respect to the ongoing investigation, there was a mental crisis in terms of the situation that took place with him on last evening.
It appears that something happened though at the hospital, because so he goes non-critical and he dies there. Do we know what occurred there that led to his death?
At this time, we do not, and we will have to actually wait on the autopsy report.
Now, Mr. Crawford, I understand he was a mental consumer as well.
I think you're correct, but I can't say for sure.
Yeah, I think Mr. Crawford was the gentleman that was involved in the SWAT standoff a few weeks ago, and I think you're right on that.
Any details on circumstances leading up to his death?
Other than they found him unresponsive in his cell early this morning. He was immediately seen by medical in the jail. Medical called the fire department. The fire department transported him, and he died this evening.
I wanted to clarify something you mentioned also. Have we, maybe I misunderstood what you said, but have we fired employees due to drug-related deaths at the jail? Is that what you mentioned? There have been employees fired related to that?
Not related to drug deaths. We have fired employees for bringing drugs in. Many of you, I don't know, I might be the old guy in the room, but attorneys have been charged criminally years ago for bringing drugs or giving drugs to an inmate. So we know, or we believe we know, how drugs are getting into jail. There's only three ways: either through an attorney, through our commissary, or our employees. We've invested a lot of money on a Tech 84, which is airport scanners. I think everybody would know that. And we've invested a lot of money to try to slow down the response. But we're not the only jail in the country that's experiencing these types of problems. So I think if any of your viewers go back and look anywhere they'd like to, they'll see that this is a struggling problem. And when you start talking about fentanyl, which a very, very small amount of fentanyl that can cause a person to go overdose and to literally die. Yes, we do have Narcan in the jail. We try to use the Narcan, but sometimes it just doesn't work.
You talk about getting a new jail, talk about better recruiting, better staffing. I mean, what steps can you take immediately so that there aren't 4 more deaths next week?
Well, I mean, I wish I could promise you that. I really do. I know that we're doing all that we can do. We've hired a marketing firm to bolster our recruiting. As stated by myself and Chief Fields, I've got 60 officers down at the Youth and Education Center that I could definitely use at 201. More eyes, getting a fresh set of eyes, getting a national expert in here to look at our operation, total operations, and see is it anything that we're missing. And because we want to do a better job. I don't want to have to stand before these cameras in another week talking about another jail death.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate you.
All right, thank you.